It was the night she died that I learned the truth about him, about the man they called worthless. The man they said would bring her shame. But as her lifeless body lay there in his arms, and the glow of his hands seeped into her chest, I knew then we had made a grave mistake. My name is Neka, and this is not a story I share easily. It happened 4 years ago in our quiet village in eastern Nigeria. My cousin, Ulenma, was the pride of her parents, stunning, educated, and their only child. Her parents, Chief Afunwa and Madam Chinelo, were among the wealthiest in the region. She could have had any man, yet she chose Ojidi, a man with nothing. Ojidi wasn't like the other young men. He didn't own land, he didn't have a trade, and he rarely mingled with others. People said he was cursed or simply lazy. But Ulenma didn't care. They spent hours together by the stream, whispering and dreaming of a future no one else could see. When Chief Afunwa found out about the relationship, all hell broke loose. I remember the night vividly. Ulenma's parents summoned Ojidi to their compound. The tension in the air was thick as palm wine flowed for the elders who had come to witness the confrontation. "You," Chief Afunwa roared, glaring at Ojidi. "You think you're worthy of my daughter? What do you have to offer her? Nothing. You're a disgrace to men." Ojidi stood there quietly, his face calm, while Ulenma clung to his arm. "Love is not enough," Madam Chinelo said sharply. "Our daughter deserves someone who can match her status." The elders murmured in agreement. And then, to humiliate him further, Chief Afunwa spat at Ojidi's feet and laughed. "Get out of my compound, you useless man, and never come near my daughter again." Ojidi didn't respond. He just looked at Ulenma with a gaze that seemed to hold 1,000 unsaid words and walked away. That night, Ulenma refused to eat or speak to anyone. "They don't understand, Neka," she told me later, her voice barely audible. "Ojidi is not what they think he is." "What do you mean?" I asked, but she only shook her head. A week later, Ulenma fell ill. At first, we thought it was malaria, but it became worse. Her body grew weaker each day, and her skin turned an eerie shade of pale. None of the medicines worked. The village doctor was called, but even he was baffled. Her parents were desperate. They consulted priests, healers, and diviners, yet no one could save her. As her condition worsened, Ulenma whispered to me one night, "Find Ojidi. He can help me." I hesitated. If her parents knew, they'd disown me, but her desperate eyes left me no choice. I found Ojidi at the edge of the forest, sitting beneath a tree. When I told him about Ulenma's condition, he simply nodded. "Take me to her," he said. When we arrived at the compound, Chief Afunwa and Madam Chinelo erupted in fury. "How dare you bring this man here?" her father shouted. "Get out before I have you beaten." Ojidi didn't flinch. He stepped forward and said in a calm voice, "If you want her to live, let me help." Chief Afunwa hesitated. Ulenma was on the brink of death, and he knew it. Reluctantly, he stepped aside. Ojidi entered the room where Ulenma lay motionless. He knelt beside her and placed his hands on her chest. Then he began to hum, a low, haunting melody that sent chills down my spine. For a moment, nothing happened. Then I saw it, a faint glow, like fireflies, radiating from his hands. Ulenma's body jerked violently, and I thought she was gone. But then she gasped for air. Her eyes opened, and color returned to her face. We stood frozen in disbelief. Chief Afunwa dropped to his knees, trembling. What are you?" he stammered. Ojidi didn't answer. He simply stood, his face unreadable. "She's safe now," he said quietly. Then, without another word, he walked out of the house and disappeared into the night. Ulenma recovered fully within days, but Ojidi was never seen again. Some say he was a wandering spirit sent to test our family's arrogance. Others believe he was a healer with powers beyond our understanding. Chief Afunwa and Madam Chinelo were never the same after that night. Their pride was shattered, and their wealth felt like an empty burden. As for me, I still think about Ojidi. I go to the edge of the forest sometimes, hoping to find him. Not to thank him, but to ask him the question that haunts me. Was it love that gave him the power to heal, or something far more mysterious?